Mhm. Yo, what up, guys? Welcome to Momentum number 279. Hope you guys are having a great night. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Wonderful weekend. We wrapped up the mastermind this week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday was a ton of fun. We actually had some people hanging around, and we're going to be chilling tomorrow, talking about real estate even more, showing you guys, diving a little bit deeper for our mastermind students, well, Pace's mastermind students, diving more deeper in our real estate business and doing all kind of cool stuff. But before we get into what I want to talk about today, guys, if it's your first time on the channel, my name is Matt Beard. We talk about real estate. We talk about real estate investing. We talk about all sorts of things, business, entrepreneurship, virtual assistant, so much stuff. The idea of this channel is there's so many folks that get so stuck in what should I do next? And maybe that's you. And hopefully you're in action mode. You're taking action, doing things that's necessary. But so many people get stuck right there. What do I need to do to get the results that I want? That's the purpose of this channel. Guys, if you get any value from this stuff, please head over to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. Okay, so let's rock and roll. Let's get right into it. So this is Sunday session. Every single Sunday, we break down the previous week as well as what we want to accomplish this coming week. Hopefully, you guys are doing your smart days and your smart weeks. You can track back. This is probably like the 45th or some odd number Sunday session. But the idea, and I think we get questions a lot here on this channel and in the Facebook group, not just me, but a lot of other folks. It's like, how do you stay organized? Like, how do I build a business that's meaningful? How do I build a business that gets me what I want to get? Like, and I think it was going back to the videos, like being super clear what it is that you want. But let's talk about getting those unfair advantages, right? And I think another phrase to turn that unfair advantage, like what does that actually mean? That phrase is basically, what is your gift? What is something that you know to be true about yourself? So heading into not just this week, but heading into 2022, I think it's important that yes, we stay organized. Yes, we start, being super diligent with our time, and yes, we can time block and we do these things with our calendar. But I think we start with what actually matters to us. What are some areas of our life that we want to improve? Right? It could be money, it could be health, it could be wealth, it could be relationships, like whatever, right? But the idea is figuring out what is it that you want to improve. There's that book that we've talked about here on this channel is the Who Not How, right? And in Who Not How, it talks about there is wisdom in the procrastination. So I would look at your life first off, and I would say, okay, well, what have I procrastinated on up to this point? Right. And typically the things you procrastinate on is either number one, you don't want to do it, or number two, you're fearful of actually doing the thing. Right. And you may need to reach out and get some support. But ultimately, the things that you're procrastinating on may not be stuff that serves you. Maybe someone would love to do it. Maybe someone would love to help you. So get a who to figure out the how. Right. And the purpose of heading in to 2022, I think we should talk more about, not just on this channel, but in general, we should talk about in our world, and not just about real estate and getting deals, but we should know ourselves, right? As we're going through these hot seats. So on Saturday at the mastermind, we were doing hot seats and we're diving into people's business. And the interesting thing about these hot seats is everybody's in different places and everyone wants different things. And the challenge is you see someone else's business and they may be generating more income, but they're dealing with different problems that maybe you haven't encountered yet, or maybe you don't want to follow that business model, but you feel like you should because they're making money, right? And we saw that just on every individual person's like, ooh, that looks good, or ooh, should I be doing that strategy too, right? And it was just constantly reminding folks like, hey, as we're talking about people's businesses and strategies, let's talk about you and what you want. Maybe you don't want to maybe having a business that is doing 20 deals a month isn't serving you for what you ultimately want. Do you want more freedom? Do you want more time with your significant other? Do you want more time with the kids? Do you want to travel more often? Like, what is the thing that you can see you can accomplish in the next 90 days, next 180 days, like within the next year? What is it that you really, if you can make that happen, like what would that make sense to you? Right. And I think it goes into what I want to talk about is the unfair advantage, which is, again, your gift. And I explain it this way. Whenever this goes into what do you gravitate towards, right? We all have different personalities. We've talked about, the integrated relationship and the visionary relationship and, kind of how those two things work together. And it almost makes it seem black and white. And reality is it's not black and white. Being a visionary, could you also do things that an integrator would do? And again, guys, this is going back to a book called Rocket Fuel. If you haven't read it, read it. But honestly, I don't subscribe to a lot of the thoughts in the book of like, hey, you're either one thing or the other. Because when I did the test, I was kind of like, I was kind of like right down the middle. But what I do love is just identifying your strengths. Okay. So this Sunday session and heading into this week and then finishing this year off strong and having great momentum going into 2022, I think it's important that we do an audit on ourselves, right? It's important that we do an audit on ourselves in that what is stuff that you just naturally like to do? When everything's said and done and you've had a long, exhausting day, do you gravitate wanting to go hang out with people? Do you gravitate towards, "Oh, let me text my friends. I wonder what they're up to." Or, "Hey, I wonder what these other investors are up to. Let's have a Zoom. Let's talk about whatever. I wanna be hanging around people." Or do you gravitate towards, "I'd rather be by myself. I don't like hanging out with a lot of folks. I'm kind of an introvert." Right? So if you're doing things that don't serve you, right? If you're constantly doing things that forces you to do things that you know is not your strength, do you ever think you're going to make the significant impact that you want? And the answer is no. You're going to get burnt out. And I think burnout comes and self-sabotage comes from doing things that you naturally don't gravitate towards. You can only do it for so long, right? And if we want to create the impact we want to create in our businesses, if we want to create the things in our life that we want to see, I think it goes into doing the things that we're good at, our strengths, because we naturally gravitate towards it. Maybe it's a gift that you already know. Maybe it's something that someone intuitively said about you, right? And you're like, I wonder that's probably right. I really like that, right? I really like that someone said that about me. And I was talking to someone at the mastermind. It's like, man, I could tell you what your strengths are right now, and you should do more of that. Because reality is, we have a great Facebook group. Creative Finance with Pace Morby, amazing Facebook group. If you're in sub two or you're in zero to hero, amazing Facebook groups that you can reach out. And maybe it's not a partnership where you're like giving away half your business and you're like, yeah, let's do this thing, split our business in half. Maybe it's a strategic alliance, right? Where we talked about the adage of like when I watched National Geographic and how lions hunt and how the success of their hunt comes down to the amount of lions that are there when they're hunting, right? So they hunt as a pack. If there's one individual lion, their success of at getting an actual kill is like extremely low. But when they're hunting with 3 plus other lions, the likelihood of them making a kill goes like through the roof, right? So I think we need to start thinking about when we talk about squatting up, it's not just having a partner, right? An integrator and a visionary. I think it's more of let's have some strategic alliances. Let's have people that can help us because reality is this business comes down to sales and fulfillment, right? Sales and fulfillment is like every business. So in the real estate world is sales. So I need to get people, I need to market to make the sales, right? So who's going to take care of the marketing? Who's going to take care of the sale? If you can figure that part out and you're getting contracts, the selling of the deals is the easy part. There's so many companies. You have Keegley, you have Nationwide Dispo. There's so many people that would love to sell your deal, but the hard part is getting the deal done itself. So it's a matter of, what do you want to work on? What is going to give you the most energy? And then finding strategic alliances within the Facebook groups or within our other communities or maybe your local meetups that can help fill the void of the things you don't want to do. If you're always talking to sellers and you hate it, do you think you'll be consistent in it? The answer is no. You're not going to be consistent in it. You're going to do it just long enough and you're going to get burned out. Maybe you don't get any deals done and then you end up quitting, right? Or you do it and you do it and you do it and you can't replace yourself. And then you end up looking up 6 months down the road. And I see this so much for folks in the community where they just go MIA for a while because they burnt themselves out because they did the thing that they hated for so long and they didn't get the results they wanted when they really could have just reached out for help. And I don't want that to be you guys. Heading into 2022 to get your unfair advantage, it is really going like doubling, tripling down on the things that you naturally gravitate towards. Because I promise you, you can find a counterpart that naturally gravitates towards the other thing that you don't. Whether that be you're a salesperson, you love talking to people. Maybe you need to find someone that can help you get organized, right? Because reality check, most salespeople, and I hate to generalize, not the most organized, right? And I can say from experience because I'm that way. I need help in my organization. I tend to be disorganized, but I've really worked on it. And again, like as we're growing these businesses, you're developing your strengths and you're doubling down. You're creating these strategic alliances, super important. But if your goal is to make $1 million a year, We got to be $1 million person, right? We can't say like, I'm just this way. I'm unorganized. So, it is what it is. Or we can't say, I really suck at, keeping track of my money. You'll never be $1 million person if that's your excuse, right? Like, that's someone else's job, right? Not being good at the details or not being good at managing your money will cost you, and you won't get what you want if that's your goal, right? If you want to if you want to be $1 million millionaire or a multimillionaire, you got to be a multimillionaire person. If you want to be a professional athlete, you can't be like, for basketball, for example, you can't be like, yeah, I'm really good at playing defense and, I have a mid-range jump shot, but anything outside of that, it's not my thing. Do you ever think you're going to be a star player if that's the only thing you bring to the table? There's some people that can play defense, right? But, they're not the ones getting the max contracts. Same thing goes for football, for baseball, for any sport. And I'm just using sports as an example. The main thing is the goals in your life. Let's not limit ourselves. Let's not talk bad about ourselves. Let's not put things on us that may have been version 1.0 or 2.0, right? As we're heading into 2022, we're doubling down on our skills. We're finding strategic alliances to fill the gaps, but we're working on ourselves. We're working on our weaknesses because we understand as we grow and we level up, it's important that all these things level up with us, right? You don't want to like vertically get so good at this one thing, then everything else be down here in the red. Because again, you won't get what you want. But I promise you, there are people in our world. If you're watching this YouTube video right now, or you're watching me on Facebook, I guarantee you're in one of those groups. And I guarantee someone in that group is struggling right now for the skill or the natural thing that you gravitate towards, right? They're struggling to get help for what you're good at. And likewise, they are looking for someone like you, right? So I am encouraging you guys to squad up heading into this week and into this new year. Let's not, like, it's natural to look at all these opportunities because we are so blessed with the abundance of opportunities in our world. And if you're here for a reason. But I promise you, there is someone that use your skill set, and likewise, there is someone that you could use their skill set. Strategic partnerships, and why not go out and make a bunch of money? Accomplish the things that you want to make, and then along the way, you can figure the rest out. Right? As you're making money, as you're learning, and as you have these strategic partnerships, you can start filling in the gaps. Right? But don't let it stop you. And if you feel like you don't have any value to give, I promise you, what you naturally bring to the table, the things you gravitate towards. If you're a go-getter, you're watching this, you don't make excuses, you take action. That's all you're going to need. So guys, that is the Sunday session. I hope you got value from this video today. If you did, as always, head over to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. We're doing a lot of cool things this week. We have That's Not My Job podcast, which is highlighting folks who have integrated VAs in their business, start virtual clients, and other VA industry experts are going to be coming on the podcast every Tuesday at 2:30 Arizona time. So the first episode is this week. And we also just moved into our new office last week. So yay. I got to use the, hey, yes. So we just moved into our new office last week. Well, we just got the keys yesterday. So excited to do that because we are bringing a lot of new people on with us. If you're in Arizona, you want to apply to possibly work in our real estate business, shoot me a DM, Matthew Beard _ on Instagram, or Matt Beard at startvirtual.com. If you're a go-getter, if you're a make shit happen person, send me a message or send me an email. Guys, we got a lot of cool stuff coming, the Secret Agent Challenge and so much more. Please be sure to tune in and plug in, right? Plug into the community, plug in what's going on. There's a big difference of being turned on and being plugged in, right? If you're turned on to the subject of real estate investing, you're turned on to like, maybe I should be in the Facebook groups. You're not going to get anything out of it. But if you plug in, right, you're going to get your energy source from the community. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling like nothing has happened quite yet, or maybe you feel like you're behind, plug into the community. We got your back. So guys, thank you for coming hanging out with me on a Sunday. We got a really big week coming. And if you're in Phoenix, come hang out with us. It's going to be a ton of fun. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Peace.